Hey, good evening, guys. Tosh coming at ya. 6:15, August 31st. Can't believe it's the last day of August. Unbelievable. Anyway, just out in the garage after work, and we've been tinkering for a little bit, and we got some stuff done. What did I get done? So, transmission tunnel is in. So that's a big check off the list. These are notoriously difficult to get installed, especially if you put new floors in. So I've managed to get all the fasteners in, which is good, except for one there up at the front. It looks like I may have to maybe drill a new hole for that. If you notice, we've got the shifter boot installed. We got the rear plug. We have the boot's just sitting here for the handbrake, and for the speedo cable there's a little plate for those that I thought I had bought a new one. I probably have it somewhere in a bin, but can't find it at the moment. So I did manage to keep my old ones, and we've put a coat of, these are supposed to be black, but hey, they are silver. So we've painted these up. So those go on top of those rubber pieces. They're little keeper plates. So those are ready to go. So we'll install those in a little bit probably. What else did I do? Oh, seat belts. Put the seat belts in. So I've got new seat belts. Still have the tags on and everything that I got to get rid of. But so I've got an option of either keeping the original race car seat belts, which are the very wide ones with the 5-point harness, or these more modern, just regular passenger car seat belts. So we've installed these for now. We can always go back to the race belts, but we've got all new hardware for that. We've got them, you can see that back there. They look good. So yeah, I think that's about it for the update. I think what we'll do is we've got the doors out, so we've got to wet sand those and buff those. And then we've got to put all the hardware and the paneling back on, so that will probably take a little while to do. I think we're going to try to actually maybe put the side panels on, the carpeting. So I've got that all brought down from the inside the house. Just all sitting here on the back of the chair. I've got to figure out what goes where. So we'll maybe do that. I'm not sure whether I want to glue that to the side or whether I just want to super Velcro it. We'll see. We'll make a decision on that. So that's it for now, guys. We'll, like I said, we've got lots of stuff to do. So finish the interior bits and sand some doors. Those are my options for the evening. All right, guys, we'll come back in a bit. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see this, but what I decided to do was I have installed some snaps. So I've riveted a few snaps actually to the side kick panels here, and we'll snap the carpets up vertically. This one actually has a dipper switch to go over here, so this one will not necessarily be removable without removing the dipper switch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add that dipper switch in there. I've already got the bolts in the in behind there, so I'll have to pull those out. But that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to use a snap kit and snap these pieces in and make them removable. Okay, guys, here's the dip switch plate, and it's got to be mounted like that on the firewall, or on the kick panels on the side. And then this switch here, I don't know if you can see that or not. The switch gets mounted in the plate like that. So yeah. So we're going to try to install that piece. We're going to do it separately. Obviously, we're going to install the plate into the firewall first. We'll install the switch second. I do all of the wiring down there sort of labeled, but I've got to look that up again. So. Hey, good afternoon, guys. Anyway, Tosh coming at you. It's just after 4 o'clock on Friday, September 4th. Happy Friday. Happy Labor Day. I'm looking forward to the long weekend and getting a lot of stuff done on the car. So I can't remember where I quite left off. I think I left off putting those side panels in, the kick panels. And they're in, and as you can see, I've done a bit more. I've pretty much got most of the carpet in for the floors now, and snapped down on the tunnel. I'm not real happy with this rear tunnel piece, but I'm hoping that'll sort of slack out a little bit over the next few days when it sits there. So for the most part, the interior carpets are in. I thought I might actually put the seats in, with the understanding that they'll probably come out again at some point, probably when I go to redo my wiring. I probably want to pull those seats back out, but anyway, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. It needs a good cleaning. It needs a good lint brushing. It seems like I've got quite a bit of lint and cat hair on these carpets. There's cat hair everywhere, I think. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to move on to the seats. I did tinker around with a few other things. I put the bonnet prop rod on, put a few more bolts in the front fender, and done a few other little bits and bobs, but not too much. So hopefully we'll get quite a bit accomplished this weekend, like I mentioned. So that's about it for now, guys. Like I said, we'll pop those seats in, and maybe we'll have a sit. Alright guys, we'll come back. Alright guys, just coming up to 5 o'clock. And the seats are in. You can see the new seat belts. They look good. They need a little work on the covers. It had some heavy stuff sitting on top of it before I purchased them. I think the previous owner had some stuff sitting on top of them, and it's left a little bit of a mark. So if I get some leather conditioner or some dubbing or something like that and work that in, so that should help to get rid of those marks. But they look good. They are leather, so they need a good cleaning actually. But other than that, they look good and they fit well. So, things are looking good. I think what we'll do now is maybe we'll probably concentrate on getting some wet sanding done on the doors, finally. And we'll try to get the fender beading in at some point, which means I got to get the rest of the bolts in the fenders at some point. And then we'll probably move on to the front end and get the grille and lights back in. So that's sort of the general plan, I think, for the weekend is doors, fender beading, grille, lights. And we'll be getting pretty close. We can probably get pretty close to marking a few things off the list again. The wet sanding, buff and polish for sure is getting pretty close. The trunk backing actually is done. I can actually cross that off, so we'll come out and do that later on. The tranny tunnel fitting is done. There's a few little tweaks to it. I've got to run up there's an overdrive cable that's got to go through the transmission tunnel. Actually, the electrical wiring's got to go through the tunnel. To finish the interior is getting pretty darn close. So yeah, we're getting pretty close to crossing off a few more things off that list. So anyway, we'll get back out here and maybe we'll take a quick break for dinner and we'll get out here and we'll do some wet sanding. Just about to start buffing the doors, and I do have one concern, and that's actually buffing the doors right off the stand. So what I've been doing, especially for some of the small parts, like the doors or like the spare tire cover, etc., what I've tried to do is actually bungee cord them down to the stand. So I've just run a cord. This is a tarp cord. So I've got the tarp end through here, and we'll run it through to the hook on the door. We'll run it under the stand just in case the door wants to jump off with the when the buffing wheel hits it. So just sort of a tip, things I do just for safety's sake. And there's what it looks like under the stand. Not a bad idea. Alright guys, just coming up to 7 o'clock and we got the driver's side door buffed. So we're going to flip her over and we're going to start putting the internals back in. And then we'll put the panel back on and we'll be done with it. The door internals out. So there's all the bits that come out of the doors. Hinges. Those are the mounts for the side screens. Check strap, handle, striker plate. There's the pull handle. And this car still has wood blocks in the doors. These are what the side screens screw into, and they go just here and there. So we're going to get to reassembling the door. Okay, we have my my spiritual advisor here, Les, who's helping me tonight. He wants some credit. He likes reggae music. He's a really bad dancer. No motivation for me whatsoever. So tonight we're working on these hood pins and the plates that, oh jeez, he just turned my music off. Hey, good morning guys, Tush coming at you. Saturday morning, 9:46, September 5th. And just back out in the garage this morning. Played around last night a little bit. We installed the plates for the hood pins. We got some specialized little fasteners. I think they look better than the Robertson screws that I had in there. So I think they look pretty good. We've still got to do the other side. I did manage to almost finish the door yesterday before Les came over and helped me. So that's pretty much ready to go. There's just a few more, sorry for the shaky cam, a few more fasteners on the inside, and the side screen plates that have to go on, so that's looking pretty good. So we're happy with that. And we still have the other door to do later on today. But I think the first thing I'm going to do this morning is clean this garage up because it's starting to get on my nerves. I'm having trouble finding tools and stuff, so I've got to clean this this table up and clean the floor up, and I got fasteners laying all over the place, so I think we're going to have a pretty good cleanup before we start this morning, just to make me feel a little bit better. Okay guys, right, quick update for you. It's just after 2 o'clock, and we've got the driver's side door on, and of course nothing's ever easy. So this was test fitted before the body was painted, and actually it was fitted the last time I painted the car in the fall. Anyway, now I've got the bolts all tightened down in the floor, tight. The gaps have become a little bit of a problem here at the top of the door, a little tight. So what I'm going to have to do is, I've already let I had a shim in the back, at the back frame mount, which I removed. So what I need to do here is, since I've got a smaller gap at the top and a bigger gap at the bottom, I need to shim up this, there's an outrigger here. So I want to add a few shims to bring that up, to bring this up. So hopefully that will work to get that gap back. I've played around with the hinges as much as possible, so we're going to have to play around with the shims here on this rear outrigger and see what we can do. So yeah, we're playing around. Got to take the seats out again, or at least this seat, and to be able to get to the bolts in the floor. So we'll go ahead and do that. I think what we'll do is we'll test fit the passenger side door before I even buff it. I'm just going to throw the hinges on and see how that fits, and we may need to adjust that with shims as well. So we'll see. Anyway, that's just a progress report. The good news on the passenger side door is that it fits pretty much perfect, just without playing around too much. There's the gap there at the back of the door. So the body lines line up pretty well. Front gap's not too bad considering this was a race car, so yeah, just got to work on that driver's side door. So anyway, half the battle is won. Hey, good morning guys, Tush coming at you. Saturday morning, 9 o'clock. I think it's September the 6th. Anyway, beautiful day out today, but it's going to be smoking hot. It's already 80 degrees Fahrenheit in the garage this morning. It's supposed to be going up to a high of over 30 degrees Celsius, which is about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And then with the humidity, it's supposed to be close to feeling like 40 degrees Celsius, which is over 100. So it'll be a little uncomfortable in the garage today, to say the least. Anyway, fiddled around with that door pretty much most of the day yesterday. Managed to get a small gap here at the back. It's actually a little too tight. But anyway, the door opens and closes. Not as well as I'd like it to, but hopefully it'll wear in a little bit. It is wearing the paint actually on the edge here a little bit. Remember, I've got a little extra paint thickness on here because I've painted this car a couple times. So anyway, it does open and close with a little bit of effort. So I'm okay with that. The gaps at the front are pretty tight at the top, and they go into a little bit wider down the bottom. But these gaps were horrible on this car when I got it, so I guess I can't complain. A little tight on the front fender. I'm not sure if I can move that fender forward a bit. I doubt it though, because it's bolted here at the A post and down the bottom, so even if I loosen those off, it's going to pull that fender back, so I'll just have to live with that that gap there. So I think what we'll do today is, oh yeah, and I basically played around with these shims most of the day yesterday. I ended up adding a couple in the rear and took out one in the front to be able to get that gap a little bit better in the rear. I also took out the rear spacer on the frame as well. So anyway, that's where we're at as far as that's concerned. I guess I can live with that. Considering what I started with, that's not too bad. Anyway, so I never did, I put the passenger side door on to check for fit, and it looks like it's going to fit pretty well. Gaps look pretty good. Probably a little large on the front of the door, but I think they'll be okay. Again, much better than when I got the car. So I think what we'll do today is we'll pull that back off, and we'll wet sand it and buff it. and then we'll put all the hardware back on and stick the door back on the car permanently. So that's what the plan is for today anyway. So I'm going to take that off and get wet sanding. Alright guys, I thought I'd take a quick video on showing how to put the internals back in the TR3A door for anybody that might be interested. So first thing I'm going to do is put the 10X studs in. So there are 4 locations for those. Obviously you can see the holes here that are drilled for them, so you can access to get a wrench or a socket in there. So we're going to install those first. So here they are here. I want to make sure we put a lock washer on there as well. And basically these little forceps here come in very handy for anybody that's got big hands and can't get their hand in there to get the either to get the lock washer on or the nut started. These are fantastic tools to have in the toolbox. One thing you might want to do right away is to get the check strap in place. It really sucks when you forget to put the check strap in and you got the paneling all put in with all the panel screws on, and you realize you got to go back in and put that in. So I usually start with that just to make sure it's in there and out of the way. You also notice that I have fat mat on the inside here, some sound deadening, so gives us a little more solid feeling door. Obviously is good for some noise canceling as well within the car, so that's why I've got the fat mat inside the door. So here's where those forceps come in handy when there's a, I don't know if you can see that or not, there's a bolt way down in there. So just to put the lock washer on there, that works pretty well. So those come in very handy. Snug those up now with a 3/8 socket. For the most part, most of the holes line up. I find this back hole is a little difficult, so I've got a little wrench for that one. You can get a wrench up in there, as long as you don't have your blocks in for your side screens. Alright guys, there's the fasteners installed. So we'll move on to the next part, which I usually do is the wooden blocks, guys. And I made up a few more out of the old ones. So here's the ones that came out of the car. They are pretty rough shape, so I just made a few new ones. So we'll install those. There's a couple of specialized screws for those. I'll show you when I get there. I've fitted both blocks just loosely in place, and they come with these little wood screws that screw in to keep the blocks in place. And then the side screen brackets actually screw through to the wood blocks after the side screens are adjusted for fit. So anyway, we're going to screw those wood blocks in with these little flathead screws, and then we'll be done with that step. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you're using new blocks, you'll probably want to drill a pilot hole for the new screws. Hey guys, there's the blocks installed, and they're nice and flush. So we'll move on to the next step. One word of caution, and I thought I'd just throw it out there. Just make sure that you don't actually push hard through when you're drilling the pilot and push into your outer panel on the inside. So either might want to put a piece of tape on here if you're a little bit worried, put a tape as a sort of a depth locator, or maybe just even push the drill bit in a little bit further so you can't drill all the way through. Just thought I'd point it out, it's happened before. Next up is the handle mechanism. So we've got the mechanism here, we've got a new gasket, we've got new lock washers. So we're going to install that. We want to make sure that we have it pointing the right way. Don't laugh. Anyway, we're going to do that now. Oh, and I believe the wrench size or the socket size on this is, just grab it here. Oh, it's hard to. That is a 5/16 socket. Step is to install the latch mechanism, and I've got a couple of different options here. I've got a much newer, shinier looking option, or the original that came out of this car, and you can still see the orange paint on it. And I think I'm going to go with the original. I think it has a little bit smoother action. It's a little bit more worn and it's sort of matched to the striker, so I'm going to put this old thing in. Call me crazy. The plate is attached on the end of the door by 4 again specialized screws, so there they are. So we're just going to attach that. You do want to locate the mechanism on the post from the handle. As before you attach that, it's a little bit of a fiddle to get that on there, and we're going to push that down a little bit farther on. But anyway, I'm going to attach this striker plate or the latch mechanism to the door. So that latch is all screwed into place. So the next thing is to attach this mechanism to the post. So it has this little spring clip that you just put on and push down, and that will keep that there. Then we'll move on to the next step. We're going to attach the, this is the pin, and you can see it's got a, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got a little hole where the door pull cable fits through, and this nut jams up against it to lock it there. So we're going to install that. Here's the pull cable. It's got a little ball on the end. So, and when there's the cable sheath, so the ball sort of just, there's a hole here in the door. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. There we go. So that just pulls through. The cable sheath goes on, and then it gets attached to that little bolt with the hole in it, and then it's tightened down to secure. Alright guys, the cable is now installed, and the last thing you want to do is put your return spring on. So we've got the return spring here. We're actually just going to flip it over, and that goes into one of these holes here, like so. And now you should have a functioning, see if I can do this one-handed, probably not. No, I'm not going to be able to do this, guys. Oh, put it back down. There you go. There's your door mechanism. Alright guys, that's it. And all that's left is to put the panel back on. Alright guys, quick update for you. The doors are now on. The passenger side door is on. And I think it looks okay. The gaps aren't too bad. Like I said, a lot better than when I got the car. And it seems to operate not too bad. Used to be worn a little bit, it's sort of wearing a little bit of the paint just on the inside. The paint's a little bit thick. So, yeah, anyway, we got to put the, there's a seal that goes on here, which I have here. So we're going to put that seal on. Hopefully the door will still close with the seal on, so we'll just probably tape it in place temporarily until we see if the door is going to close okay before we actually put some glue on it. Alright, that's it for now, guys. Moving on. Alright guys, I think what we'll do next is we'll concentrate on getting the wing beating done. So what I've done is I've put the front up on stands again, and I want to get the front tires off because I need to access all the fasteners that are inside the wheel well. So we're going to pull those front tires off, and we're going to do the wing beating. I'll bring you back later on, guys, as usual. For you, it's just coming up to, I think, close to 7:30. We've just got the race on, it's just starting actually. So anyway, making some pretty good progress on the car. We did manage to get the fender beating on both sides. It looks not too bad. There's a few issues I'm not happy with, some adjustments. Not happy with this front corner here. It's not fitting that great. I think it was fitting better before, so I may need some help with this, pulling that sort of that apron forward or pushing the fender down while I tighten the bolts just to get that a little bit better. Other than that, it looks pretty good. It went in pretty well back here. So yeah, I think what we'll do now is we will do that hood stripe. So we'll get that hood cleaned up a little bit with some alcohol, and we'll get the water and soap out, and we'll start laying down a stripe. Alright guys, just coming up to 20 to 9 and we're done for the day. I do have the stripe installed. So it looks pretty good. I think it's pretty centered. Just looking at where the badge is going to go. There's the badge location. I've done a quick measurement and it seems like it's centered. So we should be good to go there. So I'm happy with that. So we'll get out here bright and early tomorrow. But I'll, before I go, let's have a quick update on the list. Alright, where are we? Alright, wet sand, buff, and polish, we'll cross that off. Trunk backing, we'll cross that off. Tranny tunnel fitting, we'll cross that off. I'll call the interior done. So we're doing pretty good. There's the remaining items: wheel balancing, wheel paint, polish, side screen fitment. The appraisal and safety obviously will have to happen at some point. The 3M clear film, that's just to prevent some stone chips from the wider tires on the new paint. The exhaust I still have to have done. The windscreen seal and packing, we've got that. We're probably going to do that maybe tomorrow. Not sure about the binding issue. We won't know until we get the car running again. Then the others are just a fastener check, fluid check, grease fittings, driving lights we'll put on when the bumper goes on, which will be soon. The cooling leak I think we've found, but we'll wait and see until we start it up. And the carb rebuild, we're not sure where we're at on that. We've got the Webers, if you recall, but I do have the other set here that I could tear apart if need be. So we'll make a decision on those at a later date. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Like I said, we'll get out here tomorrow, and we'll probably work on either the front bumper. Actually, we need to work on the grille and the front signal lights, marker lights, and maybe we'll work on the windscreen tomorrow. So that's it for tonight, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.